Before we begin, please go to the homepage and download the question sheet. I will begin now. We've seen in the last couple of years a bit of division between 19 countries on one hand and one on the other hand. The one being the United States under President Trump's leadership. Last year, we saw in Buenos Aires, in Argentina, that there was a distinction in the leaders' declaration between the countries that supported the Paris Agreement on climate change. They said that they were committed to fully implementing the Paris Agreement and that the Paris Agreement was irreversible. But the US said that it was fully behind its decision to withdraw. The G20 countries, I hear, account for 75% of the world's greenhouse emissions and 85% of its economic output. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has said that he wants to show leadership on climate change. He's saying that the world needs to pull together, and he's called for governments to devise long-term strategies based on innovation. And he's saying it's a false choice between the economy on one hand and environmental action on the other hand. And it's true. I think he is absolutely right. The idea that we have to slow down or destroy the economy to save the planet is a ridiculous dichotomy. Quite clearly, if we destroy the environment completely, we'll have no economy to speak of. So it's not a binary choice. In fact, I would say we only have the one choice. If we don't have a sustainable economic system, then there will be no economic future. And somewhat linked to that is the issue of plastics, which is another issue that Prime Minister Abe has said he wants to make sure is on the agenda. This is clearly a huge problem, and one that's perhaps been recognized relatively recently. Just the severity and scale of it. Think, there are 275 million tons of plastic waste generated annually in the world. And they're saying that 8 million tons of that ends up in the world's oceans. According to one report, if we carry on current trends, by 2050, there will be more plastic in the sea than fish in terms of weight. A fairly horrifying statistic. There was that video of the turtle with the plastic straw stuck in its snout. That captured a lot of people's imaginations, as often happens. Statistics are one thing, but when people see something like that, it really brings it home. This is the end of the recording.